Hello everybody, so I'm in my studio today and I'm setting up ready to start a whole new set of work, and so I thought I'd come on here and explain a little bit about that and a little bit about where I'm at and what I'm going to be sharing with you this year. So if you've been following me for a while, you will have seen that last year in 2020 I spent quite some time out in the landscape doing a lot of drawing and studies and understanding what it was I was interested in through the studies I was producing. And the interest area I have is the surrounding landscapes, the moorlands, the woodlands and the valleys in between. And that is going to be the subject of a whole body of work which will be shared in an exhibition next year, at the beginning of next year, 2022, and it will be at Gallery Oldham, and it's a shared exhibition with another artist here at Wood End Mill. So what I wanted to do was to just share with you how I'm going to go about that, really, because doing studies out in the landscape and having a series of drawings and start points is one thing, but being able to develop those into finished works is another. And of course, with having such a focus, how is it that I am going to be able to deliver this work by the end of the year? Because if all I do is do a painting here, a painting there, add another one and another one as I feel like it, I'm probably not going to get to the number of paintings that I actually need, which is probably in excess of 30. So what I've been doing between Christmas and New Year is setting myself a little plan of approximately, for each quarter of the year, so between now and the end of March, between the end of March and the summer and so on, how many paintings do I need and what sizes should they be, and what broadly will the subjects be, because it's a massive area of work, landscape, and those three landscapes, how am I going to do that really? So what I've done is I've divided it into the year into 4, and so each quarter of the year I plan to do at least 15 paintings, and some of that will be on paper, some of it will be on boards, on cradle boards, wood, and some of it will be on canvas, depending on the sizes. And I will produce a range of sizes because we've got a large space in Gallery Oldham, and we need to make sure that it kind of works for the space really. So that's the plan. It's a kind of a juggle because I need to be organised and plan it so that I've got enough, as I explained, but there's a lot of unpredictability about it, and certainly unpredictability in the way that I work relatively intuitively. In terms of the studies, they really are important start points. And so what I'm now going to be doing is using the studies as a sort of a kickstart for not only the paintings but for more studies, because the whole of the way I want to work is to unpick and understand what it is I'm interested in these landscapes. And so in this first quarter I've set myself winter moorland and edgelands, but necessarily that might drift, it might move. I've also got fascination with various aspects of the woodland. How will that fit in? When will that start? So I'm just sort of saying that I've set myself a framework as a way of guiding me really, not something that I'm going to sort of stick to rigidly, because that kind of won't work with the way I approach things. Now my paintings, I don't really want to label them as being, they won't be representational because I'm not doing fixed scenes, but they might go more to the semi-abstract or more abstract, who knows, and those are just labels really. But I will be, as I say, using the approach of studies of the studies to unpick what it is I'm interested in. And similarly with colour palette, I will be exploring what it is that I'm interested in terms of colour, and using experiences I had when I was doing an Emily Ball course recently, and that's what those colour swatches are over there. I'll be using that inspiration and ideas to help me identify the colour palettes. So what I want to do now is I want to turn the camera around and share with you various aspects of things I've set up in the studio ready for me to start this work, and just say a little bit about them. And then what I just wanted to mention is that throughout this year I am going to be sharing the whole of the process of me developing these works in the studio. I will be going out again and doing more studies in the landscape, so I will be sharing that. I will be sharing warts and all of how I develop these paintings, the struggles I have. It's a little bit out in the open, but you know, there you go. At least we will have a documentation of the process, and you'll be able to hopefully see it and have interest in it. So I will be, as I say, sharing it, and I will be doing some specific small projects within it, that within this whole year, that I will be sharing as well. So I hope you find that interesting. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see what I'm up to in the studio. So here we are. This was the wall that you saw behind me. So this area here that I'm standing in is a smaller area that I close off, and usually I have another board across there, so it's closed off, but I wanted to be able to show you through. So I close off this area so I can heat it. So here we have, and I'll just show you, these studies were all done on location. It's a really important part of my process to do that. It's about my my sort of feelings of the place and the things that I notice, so I need to do that on location, and it's really important that I get those initial feelings, and I do that in quite an intuitive way. So I work quite quickly, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes on each of these pieces, and it's important for me to be able to do that from the landscape. I don't use photos. I might use them as a sort of a reference to a point, but they're not the basis of my work, and I wanted to just share that with you. And these ones here that are slightly bigger were done actually back in the studio, but using the studies and my memory as a basis, i.e. the studies that I'd done outside. And these were all done from a distance to the moors, because we are in lockdown and I can't physically go onto the moors, but I can see them from my location, from where I walk close to my home. So that's that. You're very familiar, or you probably will be if you've seen my channel, with this concertina, which is various aspects of the edgelands, and I will use aspects of this to create more studies and as start points for my paintings, and I will also be writing some feelings down of the things that I want to. I will probably be closing my eyes, doing some sort of meditations to try and think about the key things that come to mind, so that they become the start points for my paintings. And then here, I don't know if you can see, but this is just a list of some descriptions of the colours that I have experienced out in the landscape. So for the edgelands, the sludgy slate grey of the walls, the dank felty browns that you see, the rich velvety rusty reds, the Christmas holly greens. So I've tried to sort of come up with these descriptions that I'm then going to try and mix colours from those descriptions, though that's a part of what I'm going to be doing next as well. So I have a very large desk set up. It's important for me to have large areas of space to be able to do my paintings, so some of which will be done on this desk. I also have setups, if I whiz round onto the walls, I have a picture wall with some screws in it so I can hang things on. They're paintings that aren't finished, but you can see, and I'll show you in the other area in a minute, a large area of painting wall where I will hang my paintings. And then on this table here, you can see where I've got collage pieces that I'm starting to pull out that I might use, some of which is my own handwriting, some of which are torn up paintings of mine. These are backgrounds that I will start my colour studies on, all different colours, so that I can get an understanding of my colour palette. You can see this is some of the paper I might use, Fabriano paper. I will be using tiny blocks. This is a really important sketch to me, and I'm going to be doing some studies from that. The golds and the really sort of rich colours of the winter moorland. I've got my brushes to the ready, and all different sizes, because one important thing is I'm going to be working at a really wide range of sizes, and I'm going to share some of that with you now. So this is a new painting wall I've set up in the main area of the studio. using screws at 8-inch centres so that I can hang paintings that I'm not working on, and I can see them from the other area through that hatch that I showed you. So these are double gessoed boards and a couple of very large canvases. When I say very large, they're very large for me. They're 80 centimetres square, if you can see that. So I'll be working at this large range of sizes because I'll be working on paper as well. So these ones here are 50 centimetres square. These ones here are 80 centimetres square. These are A1 size, so they are not square, as you can see. They're about 60 by about 84 centimetres. And then I will be working on paper that's going to be smaller, that will be 30 centimetres or so. And then I'm going to be working on these very small panels which are 15 centimetres square. So quite a large range there, and I don't know how that's going to work out, whether I'm going to be able to jump easily between them. I guess it's going to be challenging and I might end up working on them in batches, but I will be working on them in series of at least probably 6 to 8 at a time. So that I can get them done, but also so one can inform the other. So I hope that's been helpful. I will go off now, and thanks very much for watching, and please do like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. And I will keep you posted. I will be sharing, as I say, every aspect of the process from here on in. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.